Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is my recent beauty favorites. I don't know if I'm going to call them my monthly beauty favorites because I'm clearly not doing them like in a monthly pattern. And so I don't know what I'm going to call them, but these are the products that I've been loving and really stood out to me and I wanted to include in a favorites type video. All right, let's get started. Got some skincare products here. So let's first start. All right, none of this stuff is really, there's a few new things here that I haven't talked about before. I know, a lot of these favorites videos are just me kind of regurgitating things that I've talked about a ton, mainly on like Insta stories and Instagram and perhaps in other videos in the past. But I like to kind of round them all up so you guys can reference these and be like, what are the products that she just consistently loves and uses over and over again, and it's always in her routine, or it's in her routine for a long period of time. These are the videos. Shuamora Cleansing Oil. This was limited edition packaging. I believe this is the, the Pore Finest Anti-Shine Fresh Cleansing Oil. I love all Shuamora cleansing oils. People have asked me before, what is my favorite cleansing oil of all times? I have tried a ton, but Shuamora was the first cleansing oil I ever tried years ago, pre-blogging, and to this day, it still stands out as my favorite cleansing oil formula of all time. They make different ones. They have like antioxidant, they have like brightening. This one's like pore refining. I don't know. I've tried almost all of them, and I find them all to be exceptional. So they're a little pricey, but they are the true essence of what a cleansing oil is. The texture is stunning, and it cuts through makeup, and it emulsifies beautifully. It's just, I feel like it's the gold standard. And it was one of the first brands to ever do cleansing oils. Not the first, but one of the first ones. And then things began trickling down into the market because I started using this before any other brands had cleansing oils. And I remember I was the account executive for Shuamora at the time. It was one of the brands under the umbrella that I was managing of brands. And my staff was like, you have to try a cleansing oil. And I was like, oil on my face. I have oily skin. That's gross. Oh. And they were like, it's how people cleanse their skin, especially for Shuamora. A lot of our clients, like, this is how it's done. And it's such a better way to cleanse your skin. And I tried it and mind blown, hooked ever since. So I thought I would bring it back up again because it's been back in my routine and I think it's worth mentioning because it's fantastic. All right, I use this. I can't believe I've never done a full review on this because I have used it for quite some time and I pulled it back out again. The Collie Rothschild Sheer Renewal Cream. Now I've talked about her Radiant Cleansing Balm before. Stunning. Really, it's definitely in like the top 10 cleansing balms for me. And once again, it falls like in a very kind of medium range with texture, not too oily, not too thick, emulsifies quite well, can take off makeup, can be used as a second cleanse. It's like right in that middle part. But the Sheer Renewal Cream, I love to use this. It's an oil-free cream, but I still find it really works well now that my skin's a little bit drier. It has slight exfoliation in it, has like slight exfoliating properties in it, but I love it during the day. You can use it morning and night, but I find what I love about it is during the day, when I apply it to my skin, it has a slight blurring properties. It's not like a primer or anything, but I find that my skin instantly looks prepped and primed for makeup. And I find that it takes down any redness. My skin stays very hydrated, though it's not very glowy or dewy afterwards. It doesn't leave like that kind of, shiny residue on the skin. It's very flat, but I do find that my pores look very, very minimized when using this. And it's just a gorgeous daytime moisturizer. I mean, it helps to promote new cell turnover, minimize the appearance of lines and wrinkles. It leaves a powder finish on the skin. I think powder finish, for me, it's not too powdery now that my skin is dry where your skin looks dull and flat. But it does kind of just leave everything very natural and not shiny. But if you have oily skin, this is absolutely perfection. All right, Gosh, my favorites are taking a long time. I've got a lot to say this time. The Body Shop Oils of Life Essence. So I am a huge Essence fan. I love using them after I cleanse and tone, and I use it before I start my serums, moisturizers, face oils, blah, blah, blah. And I find that it preps my skin, it adds in a bit more of hydration, it can add in anti-aging benefits, brightening benefits, retexturizing benefits, depending on the formula. This is a dual phase. So it looks like there's some like oil at the top and then like a separate liquid at the bottom, and you shake it up and it kind of all comes together. It is so hydrating and it has like more of a slip to it. So it feels different than a water. It's like an oily water. And I have found that because my skin is like really starting to get just, it's uncomfortably dry sometimes. And a lot of my essences work well, but this I pulled out recently and it was just like, wow. This is really helping to address some serious dryness. And as soon as I put it on, it feels almost like, I don't know, my skin immediately feels like kind of plumped and like it's had an infusion of moisture. And I find that my skin has looked a lot better throughout the day. It doesn't look as dehydrated. And it looks a little bit fresher and like it's got some moisture in it. All right. I already love this line in general, and I finally had the chance to try the Cellular Swiss Ice Crystal Cream by La Prairie. I have the dry oil, which is in my top 6 favorite oils that I'm using currently. I'll link that video below. It's such a good dry oil. But this line especially is fantastic for dehydrated skin. But I used that oil when my skin was oily and it was stunning. But the cream itself, it's this great mixture of rich and enveloping, like it completely envelops your skin and it's very, very rich. But at the same time, it feels like a lightweight gel. It manages to strike this amazing balance because when you first feel the texture, you're like, holy, this is going to suffocate my skin. And then you begin to kind of break it down and it just kind of dissipates and immediately absorbs into the skin. I have been finding this, I've been using it morning and night because I just love, I've been using it on the days that I don't use my sheer renewal cream. I love this under makeup, but in the days that I'm not wearing makeup or my skin is like exceptionally dry, I'll be like, I like to put it on my hands and then I literally press it into the skin. At night, it has done wonders to really help retain moisture in my skin. I wake up and my skin doesn't look as dull. I find that a lot of people are giving me these great, which I really appreciate, compliments about, you're glowing now that you're pregnant. And if you've seen me without makeup in some of my videos, my skin looks very dull and splotchy. I mean, and it's, once I put makeup on, it's like, it comes to life. But I find that a lot of days my skin looks like gray, dull and drab. But when I've been using this, it has given it a little bit of a boost. It doesn't look as dull, drab, dehydrated, lack of moisture, blah. So, highly recommend trying that. All right, the rest is gonna be all makeup. All right, IT Cosmetics, Superhero Mascara. I've already talked about it, tons of videos. Put it in, now I'm making you dizzy, I'm sorry. Put it in some tutorials, and it's absolutely fantastic. So I will link those below because I'm sure you guys have already seen me talk about it. I mean, I had to include it, even though I've talked about, this was my 4th video talking about this, the Bobbi Brown Nude Lip Set. I have them all swatched in a video, which I'll link below as well. The Nude Lip Trio set, I believe, is still on Nordstrom, so you can definitely check that out. And it's just, it's stunning. All the colors are absolute perfection. And I couldn't do a favorites video without mentioning them. The Laura Geller Highlighter. Now, I use this in a tutorial so you can see what it looks like on the skin. I was not thinking that I was going to love this. It is bold. It is gold. It is bold and gold. And I thought to myself, well, this is going to be a lovely Instagram highlight. One that I can definitely use maybe for filming or for on days that I feel like really being, you know, super like wearing a nighttime highlight during the day. Sometimes you just have those days where you're just kind of like, whatever, who cares? It sees me at the grocery store and sees my highlight like coming at them. No, this has so impressed me because the formula is a powder, but it really kind of just like melts into the skin. It does have quite a lot of shine, but once it really melts into the skin and you kind of buff it into the skin, it looks more of like a cream shine to the skin rather than like something glittery or like a champagne pop. And the gold on my fair skin, who knew? I always go for like peach or very light champagne highlighters, but the gold I thought would be better for olive tone skin, which I still think it would be, but I was really impressed that my fair skin was able to pull this off. All right, foundation-wise, I have rediscovered my love for the Decorte Soft Cream Foundation. Put this in a recent video in a tutorial. It's stunning, beautiful. I have it in the shade Warm Pearl. It is exceptionally moisturizing, hydrating. I used this when my skin was combination and I really had to use like a powder and a mattifying primer and only use it maybe during the cold weather. Now that my skin type has kind of really begun to change a little bit, if you have drier skin, this is exceptional. It feels almost like, I mean, there are skincare benefits to it, but it feels more like a skincare product almost as you're putting it on the skin rather than just a foundation. And I've just loved the feel of it, and it wears beautifully throughout the day, never gets like shiny or pulls apart or anything. It's just absolutely beautiful. All right, then I have the Origins Ginseng SPF 40 Energy Boosting Tinted Moisturizer. Now, I'm sure when you follow me on Instagram, you know I talked about this on Insta Stories and I showed a demo of it because I don't know what it does. Like what does it do? It's this little magic little moisturizer. Someone said they've been using it for a long time and I'm like, I don't know, I just kind of discovered it. I thought it was like new, but maybe it's been out for a while and they just repackaged it. Either way, I'm in love. It's one of those sheer tinted moisturizers that adapts to all skin tones. What? Like, I still don't know how they do it, what little magic is in here. I have heard from a few of you that have different skin tones than me that it has worked for you. And some people with darker skin types or darker skin tones, medium skin tones, and they have said that it's worked for them. So I always love to hear your feedback, positive or negative. Leave me a comment because it does help other people who maybe have different skin tone than me and are like, well, how does it work for me? So I always love to hear that feedback and I always will, share it. Okay, let me just put it on my hand so you guys can see what I'm talking about. It's like beige. What is that? And then it just, I don't know, just disappears into the skin. And what? I mean, I don't know. And it's like, well, what does it do, Mary? It surprisingly helps to even out my skin tone, add a little bit of coverage, add a little bit of freshness, glow, radiance, not shimmer, like a fresh glow to the skin, and helps to kind of blur imperfections. And it looks like I'm wearing a foundation somewhat. Actually, it doesn't look like I'm wearing a foundation. It looks like all of a sudden I've had like a filter thrown on my face. And I tried to show that on Insta Stories. It is very hard to see the difference on camera. That is the only thing. So if you did watch my Insta Stories and you were kind of like, I roll, like I didn't see a major difference, Mary. It was very hard to detect on camera. Even on my DSLR, I have a feeling I wouldn't even be able to detect the difference that it makes in my skin because it's so slight and it's just kind of gradual. Next thing I know, I'll look in my mirror like an hour later and I was like, everything looks so filtered and beautiful and like I'm not even wearing anything. I have been loving it with a little bit of concealer on areas that I get a little red or I just want a little more coverage. And then I put my regular makeup on and I've been using it as makeup. I also use it underneath makeup for the SPF properties of it or alone. A similar product to that I have really loved, and some of you said you love it and some of you said you don't. So that's just good to know. I've gotten nothing but really good feedback on the Origins. It's mixed on the Charlotte Tilbury. Unisex Healthy Glow. I love this stuff. I really didn't think I would. So it goes on, once again, clear. Now, this definitely, you can see the color on my hand. And it may look a little orangey there. Let's discuss. This is, once again, a universal tint, you know, that's supposed to work for most skin tones, and it's supposed to add some radiance, some glow, some shimmer, some Charlotte Tilbury-ness. You know how she is. She's all about that, like, superstar, supermodel, super, super glow. And I really loved it, but I don't like using it with my fingers. So as I was putting it on, you were beginning to see it was turning very orange, and someone did say to me, like, I use this, it was way too orange for me. It was way too orange for me first when I put it on too. And then I was like, let me try it with a brush. Not a beauty blender, but a brush, like a buffing brush, and just very lightly used a small amount and went all over my skin. Changed everything. I didn't find that it was as orange. I didn't find that it was as dark. It was a little bit closer to the Origins one. Now the Origins one is very moisturizing and hydrating. Felt more like a moisturizer. This feels more like a makeup product to me, and one that I use underneath makeup or alone. Don't find it gives as great of coverage as the Origins, but I like it because it gives more of a bronzy look to the skin. So yeah, so that's mainly the difference between the two. I find this to be a little more of a makeup product. Okay, bronzer, blowing my mind. Many of you have talked to me about this one. It's been reviewed, everyone's been reviewing it. The Becca Sunlit Bronzer. I have it in the shade Bali Sands. It's the lightest one. You're not even gonna see it. Barely on my hand here. I'm gonna try and swatch it so you can see it. Oh my gosh, why did I do that? I always put it in like a weird place. It is the most finely milled, gentle, delicate, soft, beautiful bronzer I have tried in a long time. Not too very orange, not too brown, not too orange. I'm wearing it all over my skin today. If you are very fair, this is the color that you need. Like if you're fair, but you're like, I just want to play with the bronzers for a little bit and have a little bit of a glow, but I still am too pale to really be like a bronze goddess. This is the bronzer that you need. It is that finely milled and that delicate on the skin. I sometimes can go very heavy-handed with this, and it never oxidizes, develops, makes me turn into like an Oompa Loompa. It's stunning. And they have tons of shades in it. The formula has like a hint of a shimmer, but when it's on the skin, it just looks flawless. Not too powdered, not too shimmery, not too bronze. It's just perfection. Absolute perfection. Way to go, Becca. All right, final thing, the RMS Living Luminizer. I have really been loving this. So I already have highlighter on, but I'm going to try and see if I can add a little bit more so you guys can see what this is. Because it's going to be nearly impossible to swatch because it will look like nothing on the skin. Now, this is a cream highlighter. And I was, I never really was into cream products, but I've been loving cream products a lot more. And I'd heard fantastic things about this. RMS Beauty in general gets really great reviews, but I'd heard this highlighter especially was really, really beautiful. And it's exceptional. Now, if you have very oily skin, I don't know. Has some emolliency to it. And if you have drier skin, this is a must-have. It's absolutely beautiful. Just know that it does stay tacky on the skin. I heard the Magic Luminizer, not the Living Luminizer, doesn't stay as tacky on the skin. But like it feels slightly tacky on the skin. I've gotten used to it. It bothered me the first day. But by the end of the day, I was like, oh my gosh, this highlighter. And because it's cream, it makes your skin looks like it has this fresh, I don't know, like not a sweaty glow. That sounds awful, but it's just more like a sheen to the skin that you're just like naturally moisturized and hydrated. And it's absolutely beautiful. I love it with like my Origins Ginseng, this on the cheeks. Now, apply it last. Do your powder products, because I still love to wear powder products, and apply this last. Because if you don't, your powder products will stick right to it. Not cute. But let me see. I'm going to try to do a little bit of a swatch. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. I was hoping you could see it a little bit more on my cheekbones. I mean, it's very difficult to see it. It's not too white. It's a little more of a yellowy, I don't know, iridescence. But it is worth all the praise and all the hype. At least I think so. I think it really gives my cheeks a very healthy, unique highlighter look to it. I think cream looks very different from powder. Okay, those are all my favorites, or my favorites. I'm going to call them my favorites, but I don't know if I'm going to call this video my monthly favorites video. I don't know what I'm going to call it. But hope you guys enjoyed it. I will link everything that I talked about down below, as well as some additional videos or reviews of certain things. And I will also, as always, link my makeup that I'm wearing down below, and I will talk to you guys soon. Take care. Bye-bye.